Where is this? On Facebook?
Yeah.
How did I miss
Dude,
that?
man, it's dope, man.
Yeah, he's getting
Him
really
and his
good.
son, man, it's amazing. It's crazy.
How did I miss that? I got it. Oh.
Okay, I believe we are live.
You are
Let me
live.
just double check. Oh, you can see it?
I'll
Excellent.
get you right now. See, boom.
Boom. Excellent. Very good. All right. Well, welcome, everybody, back to Comics in Color. We're at volume 31. I'm very excited, as usual, to be featuring Tyrone, ZeroSnake Motley, who is actually going to be joining us from Jamaica. So we are international. I thought that Kansas City was as far as we went, but we are international this week, so I'm super excited about that. But we're going to talk about some anime, and we're going to look at his work, his manga and animation work. So welcome. First, of course, I like to do a little bit of news. Most importantly, next month is our 3-year anniversary for Comics in Color. We started in February of 2018 when Black Panther premiered, and we have been going strong since then. These are a couple of our covers we had over the years, like 12 out of a lot. So so next week, or next month, we're going to have a bunch of our old previous presenters come back and tell us about what they're doing now and what they've done since they presented at Comics in Color and how COVID is going and everything. Gabriel is going to join us. We locked in JM. A couple of our creators are here today. So that's going to be exciting. I'm very excited about that. We'll have some prizes to give away, and it'll just be more of a fun party atmosphere. Not that it isn't always a fun party atmosphere, but yeah. So I'm super excited about that. So that is February 13th, and definitely join us. And the stuff will come out for it probably in the next couple of days because I'm a little behind. What else? I wanted to take a moment to talk about my man, MF Doom, who passed away on New Year's Eve, right? He's
died in October.
I thought it was December 31st.
That's when they told us about it.
Oh, it was October 31st.
Yeah, he'd been dead for 2 months.
Oh, damn.
I did not know that. I thought it was December.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, but he was, as you all know, he was one of the most prolific MCs of all time. Right. He started out as in KMD, which was a native tongue group back in the 80s and 90s with his brother Sub Rock, who passed away. And then he kind of disappeared from the scene for a long time and emerged back as Doom. And the dude is just, I don't know, he hits all the points for me. He's a brother who has a history in hip hop, like a storied history in hip hop, and then comes out and creates this character of MF Doom, and just plays this supervillain, one of his many characters, you know. Right. And I think Operation Doomsday is probably one of my favorite albums of his, of many genius albums. Right. And you know, and he created like animation. I'm sorry.
I was saying Cereal and Milk, another one. I'm just agreeing with you, man.
Yeah.
I respect.
Victor Vaughn was dope. King Ghidorah's dope. I was just listening to The Mouse and the Mask, which was him and Danger Doom doing the whole Adult Swim thing, which is like, I mean, the dude, yes, he could make a concept album like in his sleep, and it would just be the dopest rhymes and beats you ever heard. And he collaborated with all of your favorite MCs, and you know, I just wanted to, you know, just have a couple of moments of silence for my man MF Doom, even though it turns out he's been gone for like 3 months now. We learned out, but let's give a little moment for MF Doom. Y'all, rest in peace, brother. He was just a huge influence on my life and my career. So, peace. I wanted to just give a shout out to my homie, my partner, Barrington Edwards, on his new book that just got published called Monumental, The Story of Oscar Dunn. It's a historic text. Pata, you have a question?
No, I don't own this. I don't know how this is possible.
Well, it just came out recently. It's available on Amazon. I just got a copy myself a couple days ago. It's, I mean, obviously the artwork is dope all the way through it. Barrington rocked this thing, and if all of you know, it kicked his butt because this thing is mad thick. It's like 150 pages, but he did his thing and it's dope. It's a historical text, so it's a little bit heavy on the reading, but it's super dope. I also wanted to talk about this gentleman sent me this story about a Black comic artist I had not heard of called Jay Jackson, who started doing a comic called Bungleton Green in the Chicago Defender in the 30s. And this guy was a prolific artist. I mean, people, said he was one of the best comic artists of the time. And Chicago Defender is a historically Black paper, if you don't know. And he did worked for a bunch of the Black papers around the country. He started working in a science fiction magazine doing illustrations of science fiction themes, and then he came back to doing the strip comic, and he started Speed Jackson, which was more kind of action, science, and definitely science fiction influence. You could tell that he took his influence from working at the science fiction magazine and all those illustrations and brought that into his Speed Jackson comic. But definitely check out the story. I posted it on our Facebook page and our Twitter, but it's worth a read. He was, making comics in the 30s and 40s when, brothers wasn't getting chances to make comics or be artists. And he was an artist, a working artist back then. So definitely check that out. I put this one in here because I thought these covers were cool. I don't know how I feel about Marvel's Black History Month variants. Like, it feels a little bit of pandering to me, but the artwork is dope. Amanda Souza is doing them. There's a bunch of different ones. I really like that Captain America one especially, but it's always dope to see characters of color on the cover of comics, especially like Avengers or Captain America, where you don't often see them. So I just thought I'd bring it up. I don't know. Thanks, Marvel, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I would just.
I'm sorry, brother. Now, I know in the movies, Sister Tessa Thompson plays Valkyrie.
Yes.
But sometimes that doesn't always. I didn't know in the comics, was she officially like, hey, Valkyrie's a sister now? Like, that happened? Or is it just for this cover?
I think that they changed it when she got into the MCU. I don't know the character Valkyrie all that well, but I don't remember it being a character of color before Tessa Thompson started playing it. Can anybody else talk about that?
What was the name? Brunhilde. She had blonde hair, and she used to roll with the Defenders back then, right? But there are multiple Valkyries.
Right. Valkyrie is Valkyrie. Yeah. Valkyro?
There's like thousands.
I believe it's pronounced Valkyrie.
Even Daniel Star was one, So
yeah.
So there could be ones of other races because there are black Asgardians. So she's not the Valkyrie from back in the day.
Right.
With Beast and all those guys.
It's a whole army of Valkyries.
Right. Just another name.
But our Valkyrie is Tessa Thompson. And will always be.
Right.
Thank you very much. But so kind of cool. I hear there's a new Blade series coming out soon, or a movie or something. So that should be. Is it a series or a movie?
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
Yeah, with Marshall Ali.
Marshall Ali, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's gonna kill it. He's an amazing actor. So, I mean, and I think Wesley is also supposed to do cameos and stuff like that. So
right,
they're keeping it real. I'm with it.
That'd be smart.
Yes. And I also just wanted to talk about Black Comic Book Fest at the Schomburg that happened last weekend. Myself and some other people. Gabriel was on there. LJ and Barrington were also featured on there. I was on a comics panel with Keith Knight, who's a local comic guy who's just had a show on Hulu. Woke. It's actually just got picked up for a second season. It's actually really, really funny. I suggest you check it out if you have Hulu. I was also on there with Liz Montague, who is published in the New Yorker, the first Black woman who had a comics published in the New Yorker, and has worked with Michelle Obama on a project and stuff. So she was really storied. And T. Franklin, who did the story Bingo Love, which is a LGBTQ graphic novel which is really dope, and hosted by Janicia Francis from Tea with Queen and Jay podcast. It was really, really, really fun and dope, and they're all available for streaming, including Gabriel's awesome costume and the Meet the Makers thing, which has Barrington and LJ on it. So definitely go to Shamcom.
I just want to say that was a great job. I just wanted to say that. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
My bad. You had a great job on there, sir.
Thank you. It was really fun. I enjoy. This is my favorite event. Like when it's in person, I always make the trip down to New York for this because this is really like this is the event where my journey began to comics in color. I walked into that space and saw hundreds of brown faces loving comic books and science fiction, and it changed my mind. I didn't know anything like that existed before I went to this. And since then, I've been to a bunch of different Black comics conventions, but this one is my favorite because everybody comes and everybody's just fun and has a great time. So next year, definitely check it out. The one thing that was great for me this year, because I usually go and exhibit, like I table, and I don't get to go to any of the panels. And this year I got to attend a bunch of the panels virtually, of course, but it was incredible. John Jennings and a bunch of other folks were on panels, and it was great. So definitely go onto the schedule, go to shamcom.org, go to the schedule thing, and you can see all the replays for all the panels, including, and you can stare at my beautiful face if you want for my panel. So that is all the news I have to share today. I like to just real quickly, before we get into anything else, I like to do my little book recommendations. Yeah. So I'm going to start with Jerry Craft's The New Kid. This book has been doing incredibly well. Jerry's been getting all sorts of awards and stuff. I finally got to pick up a hard copy of it. It's really good, just about, being kind of a Black kid in a predominantly white school and the experiences around that. So I definitely recommend you check that out. It's available everywhere. I backed a Kickstarter for Ray Comics, my man TJ Sterling, and so I got his comics here. Okamus, he gave me the first 5 issues. It's a really dope Afrofuturistic space monsters, mechs, all sorts of good stuff. It's a great story and really fun action. So I definitely recommend you check that out. And the last one I just want to highlight, it's not a Black comic, but it is a local comic by our friends at the Boston Comics Roundtable called Boston Powers. These are all stories based in Boston about superheroes done by a lot of our great local comic artists that are connected to Boston Comics Roundtable. And of course, Keith Knight has one in here, which is cool. But definitely check this out. It's good for kids, not real intense stories, but fun. So check those out. I got these at my favorite comic book store, A Million Year Picnic in Harvard Square. So definitely check those out. So that's my book recommendations for this month. So to get us started talking about our representation in comics and manga and anime, I'm going to just share a quick little presentation of, hold on. Okay. A quick little presentation that I made from last year, and some of you might have seen this already, just about comics POC characters in anime. So we'll just run through it real quick, just so people are thinking about their favorite animes. Yoruichi from Bleach, one of my favorites, an amazing character. Kaname Tozen from Bleach, the blind master. Afro Samurai, Samuel L. Jackson. Get all these snakes off of Afro Samurai. Jet Black from Cowboy Bebop. This is debatable. Some people say he is not a person of color, but
he's
I think he is.
He's
Yeah,
racially ambiguous, right?
Racially ambiguous, but his name is Jet Black. Now, come on, people. But Cowboy Bebop, yeah, right. And Cowboy Bebop is one of those ones that really, did pretty well with representation.
Yes.
Generally speaking, it's a classic as far as the music, as far as the characters. I love Cowboy Bebop.
That's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah. Robotech, Claudia Grant from Robotech. Now that's a classic. I mean, Robotech takes you way, way back. I don't think I've even watched it since I was like 9. But it's a classic anime mech one. I don't Kagyo Tarino. I don't know this one, but this was a good example of women in anime where they often get a little bit crazy with the outfits and stuff. So that's one thing we got to talk about is how women are portrayed in anime. But she's a brown skin character with a very skimpy outfit. Bob Marcara. I'm not really familiar with this one. Tenjo Tenge. Gerastu from One Piece. Yeah, he's in One Piece. I don't know what else to say about him. Kiriko Rung from Soul Eater. I just love this character's design. I haven't watched Soul Eater yet, but I like the design.
Yeah, that design is sick.
Right? He's cool. And like, not every black person has to have cornrows. That's one thing that they love to do in anime is like, give her brother some cornrows.
Cornrows started from the eyebrows, apparently.
Yep. Yep, they go right to his like eyelashes, which are weaved right into his right under his headband. Muhammad Avol in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is a very interesting anime. I've only watched a couple of episodes, but they do pretty good with representation too, as far as different kinds of people. Katsanama Gorabe from Samurai 7, another dope anime. I love this one. It's clearly based on The Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa. And Akira Kurosawa. And it's it's mechs, mech samurais in the future. It's good. Definitely watch it. Mukia Awaka from Backwash. I don't know this one. Michigo Milandro from Michigo and Hachin. I hadn't watched this when I did this originally, but I have now watched Michigo and Hachin, and I really liked it. I definitely recommend it. It's kind of hard to find. I think I watched it on YouTube, but a really fun anime and lots of characters of color. So I would recommend it. Ao Canary from Hunter x Hunter, another design that I really enjoy. Just a little black girl with little black girl hair and a suit, which I think is dope. Nadia from Secret of the Blue Water. I haven't seen that one in a long time. I don't even remember this character. Yasuke from Nobunga Concerto. So this one is Yasuke, the Black Samurai, the historical Black Samurai that we've heard about that your boy Chadwick Boseman was supposed to make a movie of before he passed away. I don't know this particular anime, but I do know who Yasuke is. Iris from Pokemon. I know we got some Pokemon heads out there. And of course, my man Brock from Pokemon. Now, this is also another one that people debate often, right? Is he a character of color? Yes, he is.
I'll accept it.
Right? Look at his hair.
Brock's my man.
His skin is brown. He's the man. And he was always my favorite character in Pokemon anyway. Forget Ash and Trixie. They're boring. It's all about Brock and him striking out constantly. Biscuit Olivia from Baki. So Baki is one of those Netflix-produced animes about just like a fight club kind of thing. And Biscuit Olivia is the American big indestructible brother. I really like Baki just because I really like those fighting animes that just are
love it.
Some kind of tournament where huge muscular dudes beat each other to pulp.
That Street Fighter vibe.
Yes. Baki definitely pushes it.
Yes, and there's
muscles
right?
on muscles, man.
Muscles on muscles, and this dude is just muscles on muscles on muscles on muscles. And but this one, and then there's like a Kengan Ashura, another one that's really dope. That's just one of those fighting animes that I like. Hilda from Eureka 7, not too familiar with this one. And of course, Philly the Kid from Cannon Busters. Now this, I believe this is the last one I have on the list, but this, of course, brings us to LaShawn Thomas, who also worked on the Boondocks, most notably. But LaShawn Thomas, after his work for the Boondocks, said, I love this so much. I'm going to move to Japan and start my own animation studio, which Cannon Busters, and they did another film too, but I can't remember the name of it. But Cannon Busters is a Netflix series, and it's great. I love it, and the most brown-skinned people in an anime I've ever seen, ever.
Yeah, I actually backed that Kickstarter.
Yes, right? And as you can tell, this is an old slide presentation because I have April 1st, 2020.
Man, hats off to that dude, man. Hats off to that dude. He actually documented, I don't know if you've probably seen it, like he documented his journey there too. So if you guys ever want to like punch in his name, man, just go down memory lane, some good stuff in there.
Yeah,
it's amazing. That documentary is amazing.
Can you, someone, if you have the link to it, just like maybe put it up in the chat or on the Facebook page or something, because I want to see it. Because I think the dude's work is amazing. But so that's just a few characters of color in anime. I think that anime generally is not very representational. It's it comes from Japan. Japan is 98% ethnically Japanese. There's not a lot of folks of color there. I mean, except for the Japanese people, I suppose, but they're not of color in Japan. So they don't get a lot of representation. So whenever you do get representation, especially previous to a couple of years ago, it was really, really bad. I mean, we're talking Mr. Popo, right? If you want to bring up a terrible, terrible representation, it's Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball Z. I think that I read a bunch of articles leading up today talking about people thinking about why that happens. And it sounds like mostly it's the representation from America, in the, the early cartoons, Bugs Bunny and so on and so forth, that had horrible racist depictions of Black folks with the big lips and, the big white eyes. And so they kind of took from that and created these characters. It's gotten a little bit better. I think that, there's a bunch of artists out there now trying to, work in the other direction, like my man ZeroSnake there with his, but we'll talk about that later. But there's a lot of, folks out there now trying to combat this. And the stuff you see now is a little bit better. You still run into some stuff. I mean, I'm sure anybody out here who's an anime fan have been watching your favorite anime and stopped and say, holy shit, I'm sorry, oops. Sorry for cursing, but oh my God, is that supposed to be a person of color? And it kind of gives you pause. But I think that's the being a Black anime fan, that is your experience, right? You fall in love with a show and all of a sudden it's, making fun of you directly in your face. But Black folks have a real love of anime. Like there's a huge love for anime in the Black community, whether, and it always has been there. I mean, I remember even in like the 90s, getting bootleg anime tapes from the store downtown. Who can remember the name of the store downtown that had all the Kung Fu tapes? Jam, come on, I know you were up in there. What was the name of that place that was above like the Diamond place in Downtown Crossing?
Kung Fu Video.
Kung Fu Video! I used to love that place. I got my first Ninja Scroll VHS there.
To this day, Ninja Scroll is still like in my top 5, man.
Oh yeah. In that era.
Hey, that's still one of the best things to watch, to sit back and watch.
Ninja Scroll's that jam.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime Ninja Scroll is available, I'm on it. Because I love Ninja Scroll. Kira, like of that era, of just amazing anime movies. But you know, if you think about them, there was not any representation of people of color in Ninja Scroll or Akira or any of those kind of movies. And I think it's a problem. Force 5. Okay. Pata. I don't know Force 5. If you want to hop on and talk about that, I would be happy to hear about it. But you know, traditionally, I mean, a lot of animations, and anime in particular, relies on stereotypes. You know, they rely on stereotypes for women. They rely on stereotypes for gay folks. They rely on stereotypes for black folks. So there's a lot of that, and it's kind of just a shortcut. I think people don't want to do the research or hire the people who would really represent it well. So you end up with a lot of kind of tone deaf anime, you know, characters in anime. But I'm open to anybody else can talk about this too. You don't have to listen to me prophesize about anime and representation.
No, I absolutely agree with you. I'm saying I remember during the '90s, like what put me on was Dragon Ball Z. I'm pretty sure a lot of people could say that.
It's gateway
drug. And whenever you get to like the World Tournament, you start to see other characters that's not the Z fighters, and you do see that black character, and he has like the big red like or pinkish lips. It's just like as you said, it's very reminiscent of the '70s and '60s American cartoons.
Yeah.
And so we can't hold them totally accountable, but what I'm saying, they knew what they were doing at the end of the day. It was like a mockery, and it clearly was. So, like you said, we are starting to see a lot more people of color. Like we say, okay, we're gonna remix it our own self. So we're gonna show y'all how we actually depict it, because nobody gonna make it for us but us first. So
that's what I'm talking about. We got to do it. Reggie just commented in the comments here. I think up until recently, now that anime has been making not only for Japanese but a global audience, we are starting to see more black representation. I think that's a good point, Reggie. Yeah, up until recently, they were really just focused on making anime for Japanese people, and if other people saw it, okay, but it was really for Japanese people. Now that Japan is not it's not as popular in Japan and has become much more of a global market, we have to, there's starting to be more representation in Japanese anime. But I think there's also, I know that Japanese anime is a style, right, that other people use. So not all anime has to come from Japan, as long as you're using the style. So I think that there is a lot of people now creating anime content that is not from Japan. I know there's a big movement, an animation movement out of like Nigeria, for instance. They're doing a lot of anime, really dope animation. It's hard to find here. I get previews and stuff for it, but I have not been able to acquire the full films of some of these ones. But I know there's also like this one that I really been looking for about this girl. I think she's in the West Indies somewhere. I can't remember the name of it, but there's all sorts of anime coming from all over the world now. So I think we're going to see a lot more representation moving forward. And, I think that's great. We also, like Tyrone was saying there, that we forgive a lot though, right? Because it is, Japanese people, they don't have the exposure to people of color. They're kind of isolated as far as the media that they get. So we forgive a lot because we love these shows.
Right.
But it's something we got to talk about.
Like, I don't know if you guys read Naruto or watch Naruto, but I was in like high school era where like the whole Killer Bee art came out, and like that was a huge. You was like, yo, like these dudes are actually cool. Like, you feel me? Like when I'm playing the Naruto video game, I actually want to be Killer Bee. I want to be the Raikage. I want to be like all these different. I'm saying, like, all these different characters.
Right. And he was the baddest too.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like the fastest, strongest. As I know, some of it, we was like, okay, as I know, he gotta be a rapper, okay, cornrows and shit. But you know, we're gonna let that slide because we ain't got that much.
At least they made him strong and fast, right? He's not just like a punk.
Right.
So I just wanted to show that I have on my dope Naruto Cloud Village.
Respect, man. Respect.
Hey, gotta do it. You can't see it on screen, but it's there.
Definitely. And just to ping pong one last thing. I heard the argument all the time that, you know, you're not Japanese, not anime, you can't make, bro. So you mean to tell me, right? Okay, anime is an art form, right? I'm an artist, right? So if somebody in Spain makes expressionistic art, and then somebody in China makes expressionistic art, is it still not expressionistic art? And the answer is yes, it is.
Of course it is.
It came from different places, different probably inspiration. And whatnot. So, you know, I'm gonna go into more on that because that kind of train of thought is what led me to the world of Unrivaled. You know what I'm saying? That we don't gotta be Japanese. So.
Right. Well, I'm into it, and we're gonna talk about that in just a minute. I'm gonna give you the floor in a couple of minutes. But does anybody else have anything they want to add to the conversation about representation in anime?
I admittedly have not seen that much anime, so it's cool hearing the Rex. But I think I've seen like 5 episodes of My Hero and like all of Agretsuko, but like that's it. But like I heard Carol and Tuesday has some pretty good representation.
Yes.
Yeah. I've heard that's a pretty good show. And now I'm thinking about in Agretsuko, it's animal characters, right? It's Sanrio, same people who made like Hello Kitty. But there's some characters in it who are coded as Black. And like that sometimes also is different too, because it's like, or problematic because it's like we're relying on stereotypes again. Like there's a character in it who's kind of basically like a loud Black woman, basically, even though so even though they're animals. So it's kind of like, yeah, we still see that like things being coded as Black of different people, even in anime and all kinds of mediums too. So yeah, but I'm good hearing the Rex, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up My Hero Academia because I didn't really get into that, but I know there's some characters of color on there as well. They're kind of a decent representation, but it's also a very, very new animation, so you got to imagine. Chris, did you have something you want to say? And you're on mute.
Yeah, I know. I was sort of raising my hand, school, but so I did hear about like I think I'm blanking on it now. It's like this book made by Black artists, another anime made by a Black artist. It's called Apple Black. It was produced in some sort of magazine called Saturday AM or something like that.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because that came in my research. That came across as Saturday AM is one of the best animes for representation of gay women and characters of color. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's one I have to really like look closer into. I hadn't heard of it before I started kind of researching this, but yeah.
Right. It's actually a whole wave of like we're starting to see like people in America trying to do something similar to what Shonen Jump did, have different titles under, you know, one brand. So Saturday AM is a good one. They have like an older audience one called Saturday PM. You have Plus Manga, which turned to Pulse Manga. You have North Caesar, and you have Black Sands, which is launching an app in February, which I'll talk about more because I'm actually part of that. But yeah, man, we doing it.
Yes. I'm glad you brought up Noir Caesar and Black Sands because those are 2 important things. And if you're going to talk about them, I won't get into it right now. But I've met the folks at Black Sands and they're doing their thing, man. They're really doing their thing. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else have any comments they want to throw in there? We haven't said really too much about women or LGBTQ representation.
I wanted to also piggyback on what Gabriel is talking about as well. It's also within video games as well, because a lot of the fighting games you tend to get that representation, but because I know in the 90s, what was really popular was hip hop, R&B, and of course, basketball. And that had a huge representation of Black people. So that kind of stereotype leaned in as well into anime and manga. But it also influenced a lot of artists, like in Samurai Champloo. There is a bit of a hip hop influence. And another one I want to recommend is kind of like the artist is Santa Inoue, and he created a manga called Tokyo Tribe, and it is about two gang members in Japan, but they have a little bit of those Black features. A lot of people commented that the main protagonist looks like Drake. So it doesn't have an English dub release, but some of the episodes are available on YouTube. So you see that hip hop influence in Japan as well. So I think that's what really helped a little bit of representation.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up those titles. I mean, Samurai Champloo, you know, mixing the hip hop and the, you know, the feudal Japan samurai thing. And I was reading a little bit about it. And apparently Mugen, the Mugen character, although, you know, to us probably doesn't present as anything but Japanese, he is like from a Japanese ethnic minority or something I was reading, and that they're a little more brown skinned. He's a little less refined, you know what I mean? So that was kind of an attempt at some representation there within, you know, in ethnic groups in Japan. And, you know, that hip hop influence definitely up in there with a lot of characters. That show is really very, very funny. Feudal Japan, and dude's like, yo! I love it. Anyway, that's a great Samurai Champloo. Shanti, did you have a comment?
Thanks, Cagen. Thanks, everybody. I wanted to represent the older people, like the older fanboys, like, because like just when you were talking about like representation and things like that, I remember the time, like, you know, when G.I. Joe, like G.I. Joe, a real American hero, that was my standard. You know what I mean? And I didn't connect with Roadblock as much. So I tried to pretend that I was Snake Eyes all the time. You know what I mean? And
he could have been a brother. He was in a mask, you know.
There was an episode where it was Snake Eyes without the mask, and he was a young blonde man.
I know, but I ignored that. He was a Black man as far as I'm concerned.
You edit, yeah, that's the thing. Like, so I can understand, like, you know, young people who, like, you know, we're searching for that representation in our anime and the media that we like consume every day. Like, this is the stuff that, like, you know, is making their image. They're seeing it, you know.
Right.
And also, I can't fault the Japanese people because that's the media that they thought that America consumed. So when they wanted to like represent it for us, they just, you know, I guess they thought Black people like being treated like that.
Yeah, well, if your only view of Black folks was from American representations in media, then your view is all messed up. But the one last thing I wanted to say before we move on to onto Tyrone ZeroSnake's work there is that I think that the reason why Black folks connect with anime so much is that a lot of anime stories are underdog stories, right? Folks who are not well liked or accepted in their homes, and they overcome it in some way by being the best fighter or the best pilot or something. So I think a lot of times that's what brings people of color into anime in that way, those underdog stories. Does anybody agree with that?
Excuse me. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Because not only in graphic novels and illustrations, but I'm big kung fu like the old school kung fu film. I'm saying I grew up on that, and a lot of those had to do with discrimination, revenge, and honor, trying to restore honor, so like that. So,
Right.
and I don't know if you guys know. Sorry, let me know if my signal's getting bad. But
No, you're good.
like, okay, good. But a lot of the ghetto, a lot of the hood resonated with those stories. Like my father, my uncles, my grandparents. Like we all just watched those repeatedly. So definitely the underdog story carries through. I think that's why people like Naruto.
Yep,
the hero's
absolutely.
journey got to start somewhere.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought up kung fu films, because I think that's the progression, right? We started out in the 70s with kung fu films in theaters, and then Saturday morning kung fu flicks, and that moved right into Dragon Ball Z, which is a gateway drug into other animes. So I think that's...
If I could just say, when I was a kid,
Absolutely.
every Saturday morning, afternoon to the afternoon, I thought brothers could fly from roof to roof. I really thought I had the issue. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't just look like that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, thank you for bringing up the kung fu.
Dude, how many of us was training? How many of us was training after each movie? The technique.
Absolutely. Or go out on the street and beat your friends to a pulp. Or they beat you to a pulp, depending on how good you are.
So I just wanted to say something on the whole kung fu thing that I thought was interesting, and how it applies to like people of color is the same struggles in most of the old school kung fu flicks were always the Han versus the Manchu, which is always the oppression of those in power to those who were just the oppressed, and it entirely mirrors everything in our culture here in America, where it's almost the same story that happened to them when they came here, but it's still the same story that all other people of color face in this America. So it's a very clear sign of like, hey, like I understand how how Gordon Liu felt as an impoverished kid, goes through a brotherhood of people who were militant, and comes out and kicks ass in Manchus. Like it makes sense. It's pretty much Nation of Islam and Malcolm X.
Right.
It has lots of similarities, and it's an amazing thing to see when then you get to understand two sides of cultures that are worlds apart.
That class
jump,
bro.
There was also in Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee's probably biggest grossing film. There's that scene where he tries to go into the park and there's a sign that says no dogs, no Chinese, and he kicks it off and smashes the thing at the end, right? So there's a lot, and that was one of the big gateway stories for a lot of people into kung fu films. Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon, and that story was really very much the underdog, oppressed, fighting back.
Right, and a small pin. I just learned this a couple years ago. Historically, well, you guys know Bruce Lee traveled back and forth from China to America. I'm saying he actually had a lot of black friends, but historically, they didn't make signs that said no dogs, no Chinese. But they did, however, have signs that said saying no blacks, no Mexicans, and no dogs in America. So I'm saying so Bruce Lee, he's seen that and he carried that over. So you know what I'm saying? So it works double fold. Like we got inspired from them, and he's saying certain things they got inspired by us. And so man, I can talk forever about this. Like
I know, right? The kung fu conversation. We might just have to do a session of comics in color, even though it's not comics specifically, but it influences comics so heavily that I think we could do a session on kung fu films, and that would be mad fun.
Because it's a big common ground.
Yeah, there's a huge common ground, and they definitely influence each other.
I low-key just started reading this book, so it's funny.
Okay.
I was like, wait a second.
Nice. And is that like his life story kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. I got it for Christmas, and I was like, oh, shoot. We're talking about this. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I love Bruce Lee. Cool. Well, on that note, we're going to switch to talking to my man ZeroSnake about his work. I first encountered ZeroSnake at a Roxbury open studios like 2 years ago, and he was there tabling, and I was like, oh my God, this young man here is making manga and anime, and it was so cool. And he had t-shirts, he had little figurines, which still is right next to my television along with all my toys. And I was just blown away by it. And my son was like, this guy's so cool. So he was like following him around. But I've been chasing after him, and finally I got him to come to Comics in Color and share his work with us. So I'm really excited to introduce him. And I'm going to have to let you introduce yourself here and tell us a little bit about your history and stuff coming up. So I'm going to leave it to you.
All right. Thank you, brother. All right, so as he said, I'm the artist that go by ZeroSnake. My real name Tyrone Motley. So I got into animation when I was very, very, very young. Like I would say ending elementary is when I first figured out that animation. Sorry if you hear some background noise. But when I figured out that animation was basically frame by frame, by frame. In other words, that is one drawing after another drawing, which is just fast. And I remember I had this revelation. I was my father, he got me like the bootleg like Dragon Ball Z VHSs or whatever. So I watched it so often that I just started messing with the VCR. I was a person like play, pause, and it just hit me like, yo, these are all just different drawings going by really quick. So then I started experimenting with like Microsoft Paint. I didn't even like there wasn't even no tablets yet. It was just computer mouse. I started messing with Microsoft Paint, and then I would throw those frames into Microsoft Movie Maker, which you guys know is like the hieroglyphics version of video editing. It was choppy. It had this very slow frame rate. By the end of the day, it was an animation. It was like a digital flip book. So, fast forward, middle school, I started making small little manga, hand drawn pencil stuff with my friends, and we would just pass them back and forth because in the hood, or should I say, my schools, they didn't really buy that much good books or especially like no manga books. I'm saying like, nothing fun. The library was hella dry, so whatever one book we found, we just shared it. We started making our own. And I remember going to the art department. I'm like, okay, who here could teach me animation? And of course, our teachers are like, I can't teach you that. I don't know that shit. Okay, who could teach me how to create a comic book? Nobody teach me. So, it came to a point where I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna have to teach myself. I'm gonna have to put my big boy pants on and just learn from the greats. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the greatest like mentality that I gave myself is like, don't compare myself to my peers. Like when I was doing my Newground stuff, don't compare my work to other people on Newgrounds because they not going. I'm saying not everyone at that time was going to the level that I was trying to achieve. So I had to have the mentality to compare my work to the professionals. So that's that. So moving on forward towards the end of high school, I started working on my animated project AIM, and I'm going to show you guys this now. It first started off as a webcomic on Smack Jeeves. I then took it down and stuff, but if you don't mind, I'm going to.
This is the beginning.
Yeah,
I think you should be able to share your screen.
Yeah, I got you right now. So just pull it up, the animation. All right, here we go. So now, granted, this isn't the first version of AIM. This is just, like everything has like 1,001 versions before the final, But
you can't see it if you're sharing.
Right, here we go. Right now, I'm about to do it right now.
dope. That's super dope. We can't really hear you while the video's playing, so I don't know if you said anything while it was playing, but couldn't hear. Can you share with us like how you made that?
Absolutely.
Like what was the process?
Figure out how to,
because we're artists here. We like to know how'd you make it? Show us how the sausage is made.
But okay, so we need to start the show. Okay, so the backgrounds I would make in Photoshop, and the frame by frames I would do in Adobe Flash. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And all the flair and all the editing comes in with Premiere and After Effects. So
okay,
that's the golden four right there.
And you digitally created all the characters and all that?
So AIM, a lot of characters started out of sketchbook, and then like I said, it was a small web comic. It was doing pretty good on Smack Jeeves, but once I grew as an artist, I just took it down, and yeah.
Yeah, it's dope, man. And this wasn't the thing I first saw of yours, but that's the character that the mask, and I love that character design.
Yeah.
I think it's dope. I think you should bring it back, man. Maybe like update it or something. But I really like the action sequences.
Yeah, I've been having some requests. Like I have so much, like a hell of a dope fight scene between the black dude that you guys see in the mask dude. I got several minutes of it, like footage that's never been fully released. So now that the book is out, I think I will put my pen back to animation a little bit where I can. So
it's dope. So you do the manga and the anime for your projects, right? So
and actually some of the voice acting.
You do it all.
Yeah, bro. Me and my friends, we just went in. We was like, "Yo, come through." We got a microphone. You know what I'm saying? We was having some voice acting auditions online too with the VAC and the VAA. I don't know if you guys know that Voice Acting Association, Voice Acting Club. But yeah, man, the hustle was real. Even this gonna sound like, dude, your credits is just you, but even a lot of the soundtrack, I was like, I had the mindset of a go-getter. I was like, okay, I listen to anime soundtracks that I like. I download the little Fruity Loops free version. Bullshit music, but hey, it wasn't copyright.
Are you telling me you made that music too?
Not that one. That was like trailer music, and then the actual opening that was donated, but the official, the actual background music within the episodes, I created those.
Wow, super dope. So, do you create what order do you make it in? Do you make the manga first, and then you make the animation?
Generally yes. But with animation, if the vision's clear, sometimes I can hop right into it, without a manga counterpart. But I would still storyboard. Yeah.
Okay. So cool. So can you give us just a step by step, right? Of how you come to a final product like that. And I want to see some other stuff too, because I know you have one more animation to show us, but I want to take us from concept to an animation like that.
Okay.
And who's your team? Who do you work with? What are the software you use? What are the mediums you use?
Got you. Okay. Well, it all starts in the mind. I got a vivid imagination. I would watch it play out like a movie, and I was like, okay, how can I trim the fat? Because I don't want to bore the audience, and then I just want to, one thing that I'm doing now, I'm trying to make my characters remain human. I don't want to just have a one-dimensional character. I want to see it where he struggles at internally. I want to see where he struggles at physically, all that kind of stuff. So, I get all that flushed out in my head before I even usually draw. You know what I'm saying? The alternative to that is sometimes I'm just messing around with a sketchbook. I'm like, yo, this character look cool. You know what I'm saying? And then I start imagining, okay, what would he look like animated? How would he sound like? How would, But once I pretty much got that down, I move on to penciling in some storyboards. That's the usual way. My fight scene approach is different because I'm huge into martial arts myself. Like I learned the nunchucks, I learned swords, I learned bow stab, I kind of different stuff. So I try to make it, depending on the project is different. Like with AIM, as you guys just seen, has like power, like shooting beams and all that kind of stuff. That's just far from realistic. So that was my outlet to get off that whole Dragon Ball Z shonen steam, I got older, I got more into martial arts and training. I'm like, okay, so I want to show more realistic fight scenes that we're not seeing in anime and manga. You know what I'm saying? I want people to read something and then feel like, yo, let me work out so I could do some moves similar to this that I can't do over Rasengan. So after that, then we start going into the fun part, which is Adobe Flash. And I don't know if I have any rough animations on YouTube right now, but those sometimes I don't animatic, which is like a kind of stiff, cutout of what's gonna happen. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just go straight for the gusto and penciling or digitally penciling the frames, so it looks like scribbles, but you could tell people fight. Here we go. Here's a short little. Perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and screen share something to you. So,
well, I was reading your comic, I was reading a comic that you had online. And I noticed the fight scene was like you really concentrated on the moves, like
okay,
he was catch an elbow or whatever, and I was like, oh, he really you sequence out these fight scenes, not just like some comics they just kind of gloss over the action, like, oh, he did this kind of, or it's like they're like that and you punched him, but you could tell that you have some martial arts background because it was really
so
realistic.
Just like skipping ahead a little bit, but with the book, my background in animation helped me out, like panel some of that stuff. So I'm like, okay, I want to help the animator in the future, like know how this is gonna go, and then tying in with the kung fu movies. Like, sometimes it might read like that. Like, okay, these dudes is really like, what I'm saying? Like it's snapping, like the body is snapping.
Right. So when you're making a manga, you're thinking about how it would be animated.
Yes, absolutely. Hands down, man. So I'm gonna do a little screen share. This is a very like animation I made in like 2 hours, but let me show you right here. But this is like, nothing too fancy. For AIM, you probably I have more details. I have like a jaw line and that, you know what I'm saying? But this is
your test animation.
Yeah, so no short wing it's just a little bullshit. I mean, sorry, excuse me, just a little BS, But that leads me to some of the other stuff, like
you win.
Look at that.
Yeah, man.
I told you this guy was no joke. Okay.
Yeah. So
Zero. By the way, I just subscribed because I got to see the rest of that intro, brother.
Okay, bet.
Yeah, I had to see the rest of that, man.
Okay, bet, man. Yo, so okay, so you guys did want to see one more animation before I go over to Unrivaled. So this is a short one.
See whatever you want to show us, bro.
Okay, bet. All right, so this one is, I had a short little parody kind of series called ZeroSnake City, and this one is Bruce Lee, Enter the Snake instead of Enter the Dragon. So ties in perfectly.
All right, cool.
All right,
so callbacks to the earlier conversation.
So just checking. Can you guys see the screen?
You can see the screen.
Okay, bet.
Get it.
Let's see. All right. Yeah.
Here is your squid. Thank you. Hey, are you the guy they call Bruce Lee? Hey, you deaf? You got it wrong. My name is Bruce Lee Fai Lo Lang the Tiger Mantis Dragonfish Claw Wing Chung Wong Fei Hong Lei. I will avenge my father. Your father's not dead. Ah! Unreal. Hey, I'll just lay down, right?
That's dope. That was really, really good, man.
Yo, that was glorious, yo.
Thumbs up.
Thank you guys. Thank you, man.
Good job, sir. Good job. Very cool. The writing was good.
Super.
Perfection.
The writing, how you put it together.
Oh man, you guys.
Your father's not dead.
That is hilarious.
Classic. Well done, brother, man.
On that, if I can ask a question real quick.
Sure.
With the writing, like,
yeah,
you wrote the piece first, you had the manga first, then after that, you broke it down into the illustration, then you had the animation.
Right.
The writing of the animation, could you explain that? Because I'm making some animations now, little stop motion animations, right?
Okay, good.
And doing just a 3-part story of just saying the beginning, middle, and end is very difficult. Like picking the scenes for each one, just so it's not just random movement.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, definitely. During that time, that was I just got out of college or something like that. But that was a unique case where I was working with like some of my best friends. So I just told them the vision, and then they like instantly got it. Like these people was usually like in the lab with me, like just hanging out. For them it was a hangout day. For me it was a work day, but they're in my room just pestering me. You know what I'm saying? But so they see me like working it. They seen like the rough animations. I'm like, okay, yo, you want to try to voice this character? Yo, try to say your father's not dead, and then that was literally his one line. And then like the other ones was me, so I didn't have to write a script. It was like, my name is Bruce Lee Fire Low Lang. Hey, are you deaf? I'm saying, like, I voiced that on other projects. So at that time I was really voiced that in other projects. So
so you saying you ad-libbed most of that? You ad-libbed most of that.
I imagine, yeah. I just knew how I wanted it to look. The only one line in that whole animation I had to tell somebody was Zero Mantis, my friend. I was like, yo, that was his one line. Like, say, yo, your father's not dead. And that was everybody else with that particular skit I voiced. So.
And that's difficult to do. I can understand you having the collaborative process with the people, to have that, but like by yourself to be able to create that dialogue, that back and forth it's difficult. So you know what I mean? I commend you in trying to do it. Just trying to make all the pictures make sense. It's harder than it looks, It
is. Animation is time consuming and difficult. And that's I know how much work went into that. It's a little short thing. And it's amazing. And you did all that yourself. Like you did all the characters, you did all the backgrounds, you did the sound, you did the my hat is off to you.
Even the little background is like that was me in Fruity Loops. The freaking he turns around. That's me in Fruity Loops, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. So you so what kind of online resources, like Fruity Loops, right? Well, Fruity Loops is an application. But what other, so you said you use Fruity Loops for the sound, you use Flash for the animation, you use Premiere and After Effects for the video editing part.
Yeah, I was like, I was a man. I was pretty much like, what's available at the time, what's like not crappy quality, and what can I afford? Which was like basically as a college student, like what I'm saying, what's for the gusto. It was like so I cleaned up my audio with using a program called Audacity. That's underrated gem for just basic cleanup, and noise removal. So all these that's pretty much all the apps I use, but just the way that they're used, it all comes together for one solid project.
Dope.
Right. Somebody commented Audacity is great. Thank you.
Yes. Awesome, man. Let's see. Do you have more stuff you want to show us?
I think I can show you guys a little bit of the book now if y'all interested.
Yeah, that would be great. So, why don't you tell us who, while you're pulling that up, who are some of your influences that influence your writing style, your animation style? I'm sure you got a ton, and you mentioned a few earlier, but let's get specific.
Not for 1 second. I actually got them right here. Takahiko Inoue. If you guys see my live stream yesterday, like this art book is like some of his art is amazing. I got literally 4 of them right here on my desk right now. But you know, so I like sending titles, which is like usually older manga. You know, I kind of outgrew the shonen. Like I don't really follow My Hero Academia. I don't really follow Boruto and all that stuff. But let's see, things like Berserk. I absolutely love Berserk.
I just found that on HBO Max. I just saw that Berserk is on HBO Max, and I'm gonna watch that joint tonight, man. I love that.
Kagan, why you say that? I gotta get HBO Max now.
Oh man!
Oh man!
Don't get me started on HBO Max. It has been ruining my life because all the Justice League, Young Justice, Titans, all that stuff is on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Disney Plus, a lot of work doesn't get done.
Yes, exactly. Disney Plus ruined the beginning of the pandemic. And now HBO Max is ruining now. So I'm getting nothing done. But I'm having a great time. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's what matters. Well, are you inspired though?
Yes,
but yeah,
I'm
man,
inspired.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, so I get my inspiration from like martial arts, and like I said, more stunning titles. Another good one is Shamo. That one doesn't get like no recognition, Shamo, but that one's like good martial arts. But yeah, so pretty much the hidden gems, and I consider myself like an old taku, like you know what I'm saying. I like the older stuff, like the 80s anime. Like I be punching like old anime OVAs, like stuff I've never seen before, like the stuff that's like the uncensored storyline. It don't gotta be like fancy. That stuff is where it's at for me.
Nice. Yeah, I just recently, I hadn't really read a lot of manga, but I just recently picked up a Attack on Titan manga, which was pretty good. And I picked up another one today. I can't remember what it was, but I'm getting into it a little bit more. The reading backwards thing really threw me off from liking manga. Yeah. But yeah, it's I'm really getting into it now, and because what they say is American comics are meant to be read, and Japanese comics are meant to be appreciated, like art. It's less about story, more about page layout and beautiful images.
That's interesting. How y'all feel about that, chat? How y'all feel about that? Because I seen some articles and some videos saying that like that manga is on the rise right now, and traditional Western comics are kind of taking a blow, especially by trying to pander too much and be too social justice warrior. So how y'all feel about that? Right, quick. I'm kind of curious.
Could I ask a quick question? Shonen Jump, was that a daily or weekly? Because I've always heard, like in Japan, Shonen Jump would be like almost like a daily newspaper thing. You know what I mean?
Yes. I know it was a weekly Shonen Jump, and then some IPs are monthly. So,
because I feel like that can control a lot of the culture around it. The fact that if they're seeing it every day or seeing it every
man for it. Yeah, that's true. That is true. That's true.
So why don't you show us your book?
All right, all day. So here's the physical copy. I'll show you guys. I got the digital version pulled up. I'll show you that. But here's a physical paperback, and I'll switch over to screen share now. All right. Here we go. Try this full screen. Sorry, guys. All right, so this is my manga Unrivaled right here, and I'll show you guys a couple pages. So this is
tell us a little bit about like the story and the character, not too much, right? Because we want people to buy it.
Right. Exactly. So this is the picture right here. So there we go. All right, so Unrivaled, you got Unrivaled is like a remix of the Monkey King legend, right? So we all know the Monkey King legend. We know names like Son Goku and Sun Wukong and things of that nature. So I knew off rip, like, you know, by choosing that name alone, it's gonna be an uphill battle because people are gonna make comparisons to the DBZ, whatever the hell. But one thing you gotta understand with the Monkey King folklore, this was like established like years and years before Akira Toriyama. Just like Peter Pan or Robin Hood. You know, if I made a Robin Hood thing, it wouldn't just be, you know, one thing. So initially starting off on Unrivaled, I wanted it to mix different. I want to mix different history. I'm like a history geek, and different folklore. Kind of like, you know how Shrek did. Like you see like different. You see Cinderella and all the other ones. So Unrivaled touches like different folklore, but it reimagines it. So with Unrivaled, I wanted to approach it differently than how I did my other project AIM. As I mentioned before, I didn't want to have no powers. I didn't want nobody to come back from the dead. There's no beams. There's nothing like that. It's just strictly your skills. Like you train and you live and you die. You know what I'm saying? So off rip, that was my thing. I wanted it to be high stakes. Like, you know, and then at some point in the development of this, like towards the end, I got into like Game of Thrones, and I was like, this is exactly what I want. I want, like, you know, you never know who's gonna go, you know what I'm saying? So it's a very high stake title, right? As for where it takes place, the story itself takes place in the 1600s, and it takes place along the coast of West Africa in a village. It starts off Mosey Village. Now, if you look it up historically, it's actually a village that was there called Mossy Village, but, you know, I kind of remixed it, you know what I'm saying? But my thinking into making a Monkey King legend story that takes place in Africa was, I briefly said it before, is that, you know, it hit a point I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I like anime, I like manga, but my characters don't always it don't got to be Japanese. You know what I'm saying? No, working on AIM was stressful because with the backgrounds and stuff like that, I would research Ikebukuro and other places in Japan, and, like, you know, this is a vexing experience. I'm like, okay, let me just try to, you know what I'm saying, pick a setting that that could more so work with, you know, characters that could more so work with. I could look around and see, like, you know, character designs if I really need to, you know what I'm saying? So so my thought process was, okay, we don't gotta be Japanese. We're gonna throw a story in Africa. And before I wanted to make a good story whose main character was black. I didn't want to make a story about a black character. You know what I'm saying? So I made the story first. Even when I was making the first pages of Unrivaled, I didn't bother shading the characters in because I didn't want people to get too hung up on it. I just wanted the story to be the story. So I think at the final result, it's really story driven. All right. So can you guys see the cursor at all?
Yes. Yep. I love that you base the story in Africa. I think that's super dope.
Bet. All right, so I'm gonna share a little bit. So this is the main character right now. His name is Goku Tellum, and you follow him and his journey as he becomes Son Goku. Like, you know, you find out how he gets that that surname. All right. And the thing about Unrivaled that I think sets it apart is that, you know, how the names are connected, right? Because we do see things like, let me see here. Okay, let me see if you guys can see this page. We do see this character right here is Sun Wukong, and like you said, this dude is a young version of Son Goku. So usually don't see both of the character names, which is the Chinese Sun Wukong and the Japanese Son Goku, within the same story. So I made them separate characters. And and like I said before, Goku Tellums gets adopted into the role and the position of Son Goku, which is the 5th generation Monkey King, and Sun Wukong is the 4th generation. So it's kind of a little bit like Hokage like passing on the torch thing, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? Because you just gotta read it.
There you go. Read it. Can you show us one of the pages with the fight sequences?
I just loved it where everybody's like, "Oh, this is like Naruto." I'm just like, I want you to keep on thinking that, because when you read it, you're gonna be like, "This is definitely not Naruto." But
can you show us one of the pages with the fight sequence on it?
Absolutely. You want the one? Yeah, cool. I'll show you the one that you've seen, and I don't mind showing you guys another one. All right, so cool.
Zero, I'm digging the art, man. The detail.
Oh, right? Thank you.
The legit manga feel. You captured it, bro.
Even like the page layouts are really very manga.
Thanks. Mine is the shading. The shading is so clean, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Thank you. You know what they say, like, you know what I'm saying? Whenever we do something, it has to be that much better. You know what I'm saying? So with the shading, it had to be, each panel had to be there for me, Everybody know I'm a perfectionist. So I don't know if you guys can see the pages. You might have to move around the camera, but this is the fight that Cagen saw. This takes place in chapter 2.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Left to right.
You can see you really like concentrate on the moves.
Thank you for showing the technique.
Pata is a Taekwondo instructor. He's in fact my son's Taekwondo instructor, so he knows what he's talking about.
That too. Yeah, it's all about the warrior's journey. It's like you even see how he learns like the school stance and all that kind of stuff. So it's very martial arts driven. I'm gonna show you guys one more fight real quick.
The artwork is just so on point, man.
All right, so check this out. Here is 3 of the main characters. We have a Sun Hen. And this chapter cover was inspired by the old school kung fu movies. I wanted it to really feel like you pick it up like off a bargain bin. You just see the so this is School of Hard Knocks. It's got the character names, but so you got Wukong, which is the teacher, Son Goku and Sun Hen. So this is the one of the early fights between the brothers.
Yeah, man.
So I'm like a huge fan of like UFC, so mixed martial arts. So I really take my time and have fun with these.
Dude, almost got him with the snake bite. Oh.
Right? Snake style, man.
Yeah, man. This work really excites me, dude. It really excites me.
Excuse me, ZeroSnake.
Yeah, brother.
Do you sell a digital copy and a print copy at the same time?
So right now, pretty soon I'm thinking about having to sell. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it. Like if you get a physical, you get a free digital. But at the moment, they just sell like one or the other. You can get it on Amazon.com and also ZeroSnake.com digitally, starting at $4.95, and the paperback is $19.95. So on ZeroSnake.com.
I'm ordering it.
So when I buy your book, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, right. You just made 2 sales, bro. 2 sales.
Thanks, y'all.
Appreciate it, man. Need that review. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, right.
And to be real, honestly, your drawing, like it was real clean, real like. And when I say that comes from somebody who sketches and sketches and sketches. So I know to get that artwork clean and moving like that. I good stuff, sir. Thank you.
I appreciate that, yo, for real.
And I love, and I have a question about, how does your life influence your art, your story, right? But obviously, like your martial arts, you know what I mean? Your anime, it's so much. But tell us about how your life influences your storytelling.
Man. So Okay, so you guys might kind of see that like the weather around me is not cold and crappy. Like I'm currently in Jamaica right now, so so go.
We are so jealous. It is so cold.
Yeah, I know, bro. I just left, but during the whole time of me working on Unrivaled, I traveled back and forth to Jamaica. It's probably like my third or fourth time, and you know, let me show you this. There you go. Like it shows in just small stuff like in this pen. I don't know if you guys can see it, but Goku, he wears a shirt that says "Rude Boy" on it.
Yeah.
And it's smaller things like you know, like the fashion, like you know, sometimes like you know, you might hear somebody say patois, like there's one page where somebody says "rotted," like you know, is so I'm like a sponge to where I'm at, like you know, again, some of the character designs is like I'm gonna do another screen share and pull the page up. But I'm a big fan of hip hop and like you know just you know black culture. So one of the characters named Bishop, his whole attire is like 2000s hip hop vibe, and he's making Little John like yeah what you know, but it's written so exactly like but it's written so well that you would not even notice it like. But here we go, check it out. I found the page right here. Me screen share this. One of our favorite pages.
I also like that you said that you're like a history nerd, right? I think that
yes.
leads to a lot of a lot of us are like history nerds because when you're writing stories, you got to know the stories to write the stories. So
right, absolutely, man. Like it was a common thing for me. Like when I'm working on Unrivaled, just have a documentary of some kind playing, whether it's nature or history. But here's the character I met, Bishop. So you see, my boy, he got the shades on. He got the name belt. He got the sneakers, you know. And in his role, he's like the fight organizer, like for like the street fights or whatever. So that's Goku's boy.
You know, you guys ever see Samurai Jack with the black samurai, the samurai?
Oh like, yes, man.
Oh yeah.
David Alan Grier.
Voiced by David Alan Grier. Yeah, you're right.
I think it's good character design, man. Like,
killer design.
Thank you guys. Yeah, man. So I have fun and like, you know, it just works, man. It just works.
Zero. When this becomes a game, that's my main character right there.
I do know.
No, the old characters, the old grumpy characters are always the coolest, man.
Yeah.
Yo, facts. Oh man.
When it becomes a game, dude. It's gonna be a game. Sorry, my bad.
It is gonna be
a perfect transition into a game, bro. Right? Gabriel said he'd be the first in line to get the game.
Bet, bro. Bet, man.
Yeah, man. So this is amazing. Like your work is super dope. I'm super excited about it. I'm gonna order that book today. But why don't you tell everybody like where they can find? You mentioned it's on Amazon, but where they can find your work. You know, besides that.
All right, got you. So if you guys just want to like, if you guys just seen Unrivaled, you guys want to see a little bit more, know if it's right for you, you can see a little bit of it on webtoons.com, but it's only like a little bit past chapter 2, 3, probably. But if you guys really just want to support the project and like get your hands on the story, which I'm telling you do, and like volume 1 ends off on like an explosive, like. Bro, I put the release of this book off for like 2-3 years just because I knew how I wanted it to end. And now that I got there, I read it myself. I was like, now I know myself. I want volume 2 as a reader. So if you guys want it, you can check it out at ZeroSnake.com, and you get both the digital and the physical on there. If you guys want, like, yeah, you can also go to ZeroSnake.com/Unrivaled. That's like a landing page for just Unrivaled. So whatever I want. Is it
better for us to buy it directly from you? Do you get more money that way?
I do get more money that way off of ZeroSnake.com. Yeah.
Okay, so buy it off of ZeroSnake.com. Let's not give Amazon any money we don't need.
Don't give it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about your social media?
Okay, so yeah, you guys follow me on Instagram. It's ZeroSnake.media. You can see my animation. You guys can see Unrivaled. You guys can see other projects as well. ZeroSnake City. I also got some videos on there showing me animate. So that's what you guys really wanted to see, like my actual animation process for some of the actual clips that you guys just seen is up on that Instagram. So ZeroSnake Media for that. I got a Facebook, ZeroSnake, and I don't really use Twitter, but it's another one, ZeroSnake. So artist ZeroSnake.
Dope. Well, I'm sure that everybody who's here today is going to follow you. And Pata committed to buying a book too. So you sold 3 books. Look at that. Money in the bank, baby.
Gang.
But no, your work is...
somebody said, am I collaborating? Do I work alone? That's what answer that right quick. I like for the longest time, even now, I'm like a one-man army. So for the most part, I work alone. But as of recent, more doors are starting to open up, and I'm starting to get partners. Like I said, Black Sands hit me up. So
yeah, can you talk a little bit about that, about Black Sands?
Okay, so Black Sands Black Sands, they launched a new app. It was supposed to launch February 1st, but it's going to probably be around February 15th, just to be safe. But it's a good like 30 titles of heroes of color, and everything that's under that subheader, and you guys could go and pretty much read a lot of these chapters for free, or it's gonna be like an in-currency app that you could get premium chapters or chapters ahead of release. So it's been looking really good from what I've seen. So Unrivaled is part of that lineup. Looking forward to that. Another connection. Bet it is. Another collab. I want to shout out Key Bookstores in Hartford. They was one of the first bookstores to pick up Unrivaled, and another collaboration that's going on is with Alive Shoes. We released a commemorative like sneaker for Unrivaled. It's called the Unrivaled ones. So you guys cop that. It's around for good, and the box is like a special collector's box that I designed myself. So your sneakers come in a dope box, and it comes with a certificate of authenticity. So
which
sneakers come with that, huh?
I gotta put that out there. That like, dude, you like your like product game is just so dope. Like the first time I met you, you had t-shirts, you had figures. Now you're doing friggin' shoes, man. I mean, come on, who's doing that? That's crazy.
You got the shirts right here.
Yeah, right. Yep.
You got the jackets right here.
Bam. Oh, that is so dope. That's on your website, that jacket?
Yeah, exactly. All that's on ZeroSnake.com.
I love it. Can I, and you don't have to answer this question, but like a lot of people are funding their stuff through Kickstarter. Do you fund all this yourself?
I had a Kickstarter for Unrivaled. Mm-hmm. It raised like a little bit over $3,000, so that was good. But you know what I'm saying, to carry the project,
drop in the bucket though.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I'm saying, like, for a lot of the work and why a lot of it took so long is that, it was on the sweat of my brow, as the Bible would say. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I worked hella jobs working this, doing this project. I worked from trophy. I was a freaking lumberjack. I worked in a grocery store. I did property management. And then I had like 3 jobs at one time. And,
wow. Do you have a Patreon?
Do I have I just started Patreon. So a lot of good stuff gonna be on that bad boy.
Okay, well, definitely share any of that stuff with us. We'll definitely distribute that through our network because I want to see more. And I got
one more thing to share with y'all, man. If y'all want,
let's do it.
One more video. So this one's actually, let me pull it up real quick. It is all right. So it's a trailer for Unrivaled Volume 2. All right, bet. Let me pull this screen share.
Zero, I want to take this out. Oh, okay, hold on.
Amir, I'm sorry. I fucked up.
That sword.
I can't go back now.
So
I'm in.
Time out. I need time out. I need time out. Time out. Hang on a minute. Hold on. Stop. Hang on. So when we go buy this book, right? Is this how many books are there? Because I don't want to buy it, then have to go crazy waiting for the next one. So like, how many books are out?
All right. So in volume 1, which you guys are saying, I got the first 9 chapters.
Okay.
Chapter 10, which you see this trailer for it. I'm actually working on that right now. So one of the perks of the Patreon is that you get pages as they're completed. So you don't gotta wait too long. And another thing is that now that volume 1 is out, I will be releasing per chapter digitally. So you get like a PDF for like 99 cents of just that one. Real quick.
Your business model is sick. It's like seriously, I'm an economics major too. Like you've taken real advantage of the technology and things available to you, and you're hitting on everything. So yeah, I'm buying this like as soon as this. I might buy it now while I'm talking to you.
Yo, thanks, yo. Thank you. And I pause on this screen right quick. So just to like drive home the point that not everything got to be Japanese. You know what I'm saying? Not everything got to be Japanese. Like one of my biggest influences for saying life and Unrivaled actually is the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So Akodama means field of blood. You know what I'm saying? And under that is the Hebrew term for that. You know what I'm saying? I remember reading that like in the Bible, like you said, Akodama, field of blood. I'm like, yo, that doesn't sound hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got a chapter which coincidentally gonna have a field be covered in blood. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to throw in something that like the final letters. They're not Japanese, but if you look real quick, you might have thought it was. You know what I'm saying? So not everything has to be Japanese for it to be anime or to be manga. You know what I mean? Like take it and remix it. That's what we do. That's what we do, man.
Right? That's hip hop, baby.
That is hip hop. That's the spirit of hip hop right there.
Dope. Well, this has been an amazing conversation. ZeroSnake, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your work. It was amazing. You've got multiple fans off of this thing, and I hope a lot of people watch it on FB Live and are gonna support your projects and buy your book and stuff, because I need more. I'm gonna buy that book and I immediately need more. But yeah, this is dope, and we're thank you so much for joining us all the way from Jamaica. I mean, that's huge. Taking the time out, because you could be at the beach, like having fun, but you're here with us, and I really appreciate it.
I've been looking forward to comics and color for a long time. I can't wait to like see you guys in person, man.
Oh man,
yes,
see you guys in person. So hopefully in person we can chop it up, talk Unrivaled, talk other projects, man. Tell me about y'all junk, man. So even if you guys want to shoot me a DM on IG ZeroSnake Media, let me know what's going on, man.
We got it, bro. We got it. Keep it.
Yeah, man. So yes, that's been Comics in Color, Volume 31. This has been amazing. You know, we could go on all day talking because I just have such a good time, and this has been really dope. But final notes: follow ZeroSnake, support ZeroSnake, buy his artwork, support Black artists just in general. Yeah, and the last thing I just want to mention before we get out of here is that, my heart pity pats as I say this, I am working towards the Boston Comic Arts Festival, Boston Comics in Color Festival coming back. We're looking at possibly in April doing a hybrid outdoor market and indoor, virtual programming. So I am working on that right now. Things are still kind of come together, clicking the puzzle together. But, I'm putting y'all on notice that, that I want you there, whether it's virtual or, in person. So that call should be coming out early February. And just trying to move that forward, even though we're still in this crazy pandemic time. I really felt like this needs to happen and people need it. So we're going to make it happen in some way. So definitely keep your eyes out for that. And thank you all for joining us. I'm glad we had the deep crew here today, all my peeps. And I appreciate y'all coming and talking. Man. And, ZeroSnake.
Thanks everybody in the chat too. I seen all the comments, man. Some people have caught the book. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man, you're gonna make some sales.
I gotta have volume 2 come faster. Got no cats was waiting like years for the first one. So we trying, man. We trying.
Absolutely. So definitely join us next month, February 13th. We're gonna have folks come through and talk about their stuff. ZeroSnake, man, you can come and give us a little update what you've been up to for the month. And
I would love to sit in, man, even at that. So let's go.
Great. But thank you all for coming. Thanks for being a part of Comics in Color. It's great. I love y'all.
Love y'all too. Peace.
Bet, man.
See y'all
Peace,
next month.
Everybody.
Thank you.
See ya.
This is good to see y'all. Peace, people. Bless y'all.